Holy crap.
Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Today, an 80 something, I don't remember, CJ7. I bought these things, there's two of them, a CJ5 and a CJ7, months ago, and I haven't touched them or even looked at them. I mean, the tires all still look like they have air in them, so that's a positive. Other than that, it got pulled off the trailer, drugged back here, and there she sits. Been here all summer, it's probably full of bees. And we're going to open her up and see what we can find in here. Now you might notice, shorts and a t-shirt, it's November and unseasonably warm, even in Maryland. It's going to be like 80 today, so that's cool. Not so good for the bees though, they're going to be active. That's fun. Alright, let's dig in.
These from said that this thing hasn't ran in, I don't know, he said 5-10 years. I'm not sure how long it's been, but he did have a tarp over it, so I continued that trend. And it doesn't look to be in completely horrible shape, other than it has the dreaded frame rust, which is no bueno, and it's got some rot down here in this rocker that somebody's tried to patch up. But it's really not that bad, and I thought, well, okay, we can try it. Now the really interesting thing about this Jeep though is it came with a 304 AMC V8 in it. Obviously not from the factory, but that's what's in it now. You can tell it's been here a while next to the old V-dub here. And then there's another one that came with it. I'm going to show you that real quick, but we're not even going to mess with that today. This is the CJ5 that came with it, also with a 304 V8 in it. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this one is a lost cause. It's just a little rusty, just a little. I don't have high hopes for this one even running. I mean, it wasn't covered by anything. It was sitting in the woods, kind of like it is now. It's pretty bad. So maybe another day we'll mess with this one, but for now, let's go see what we can do with that old CJ7.
Step one, we need to take the tarp off of it. Then we need to get the hood open. We should probably look inside for bees too.
I don't see anything living in here. She's a little rough though. See about getting this door open. Man, I really did a good job with this. There we go. That's stiff. Well, there's some evidence of rodents at some point. Oh, that's pretty rusty. Hi, there's my foot. Well, I don't know. It's not completely terrible. Alright, I guess let's open the hood and see what that looks like.
Alright, let's open the hood up.
Oh, man.
Well, I don't immediately see any bees, so that's a plus, right?
There's that big, beautiful 304 AMC V8 in there. Supposedly rebuilt at some point. But, I mean, how sure can you really be of such things? And if it was a minute ago. I don't see any evidence of wafts right off the bat here. Doesn't look terrible in there. See, the throttle linkage isn't connected. That's a bit concerning. And there was a lot of rodent evidence falling out of the hood and rolling down there. But I think overall it's workable. We can do something with this. Let's go ahead and get her drug up to the house, well, near to the garage anyway, so it's a little easier to work on. And then we'll go from there.
Well, we've got it moved up here, and I guess it's time to pop the hood and get to work on it. But I did notice one important thing on the way up here, and that is that there's no key in the switch. I have keys for it, but I don't know where they are. I have to find those. But it also still turns without a key, so do we really need keys? Should we waste time looking for keys, or just see if we can make it run? I don't know. I guess we'll make a token effort to find keys and then go from there.
Notice there's no keys, but it still goes to start and doesn't turn off. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but you know, we'll figure it out. We've also got a bunch of parts that came with this. Brand new soft top, some seats, 4 nice tires and rims, Yokohamas. Couple more seats, steering wheel, looks like some rear end parts, an air cleaner. There's a bunch of stuff that came with it.
It looks like the carburetor is apart. You know, the linkage is off. It's not locked up, but you know, one of the bowls is missing off of it. Looks like an old Holly. And then this rebuild engine, you know, it's got blue spray paint right here on this spark plug. Oh, that doesn't want to come off easy. I'm wondering if their idea of a rebuild engine wasn't spraying some blue paint on it. Either way, let's start checking some fluids. Let's see what we got for oil. Oh boy, way over full it looks like. Smells weird. That looks like it's got water in it. That's not good. What do we got here? Power steering fluid is bone dry. How about anything in the radiator? Oh, look at that. Full right to the tippy top. Guess we should see if it's locked up. I got a sneaking suspicion it's full of water. I'm going to crawl underneath there and pop the drain plug and see what comes out of it. But let's see if we can get her to turn. Oh boy. Well, that's not a good sign. Let's see what comes out of this drain plug. I suspect it's going to be mostly water. That's definitely water. Yep, that's just water coming out of the engine. Wonder how much water's in it. That's not good. I'll tell you right now, anytime you got to drain the water out of the engine first, chances of it actually running diminish significantly. That's a lot of water. Ah, I'm getting wet. Holy crap. Just a little bit of water. Well, that's concerning. I think we're going to drain out just whatever oil there might be in there with that too. Wow. Why don't you guys go leave a comment, pause the video, go leave a comment, and tell me how much water you've gotten out of an engine and still got it to run. Because that was a lot of water. We're just going to let that drain. I have a feeling we're going to end up having to fill this thing with ATF or diesel or something to get it free. Amount of water that just came out of this engine, I feel like we need to pull these plugs and look at them and see if they're rusty, or you know, if it maybe is all in the bottom end or what's going on. If the ends of the plugs are rusty, we can bet that the cylinder walls are rusty, and we're going to have a heck of a time freeing this thing up. But let's pop a couple of these out and just spot check them and see what we've got. Moment of truth. And they've got rust on them. That's awesome. I guess we're just going to pull all of them. I've got the spark plugs all pulled out of this, and they all look pretty decent. There was 2 of them that had a little rust on them, just a little. But they are pretty sooty. They're really quite sooty, but not rusty. So that's positive. And I noticed this looks like an Endelbrock. It is an Endelbrock intake manifold. And it looks like it might be for like a small block Chevy or something. I don't understand, but it's got a hole back here, like a distributor hole almost. Like where a Chevy would be. I guess it's not quite centered, but it's wide open. So surely all the water's running right in there. Probably coming right off of this cowl right here. Dripping down through there and right into that hole. And that's how all the water got in the engine. We're gonna shoot some lube down in these cylinders. And then I think we're going to throw a battery in it and see if we can't force it to bump over. We're going to spray a little blaster in here in all the holes and see if we can get this thing to free up. I am hopeful. I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen the video with the 67 C20. That thing, it was locked up too. I feel like if we can get enough lube down in here and maybe try and bump it over by hand and get it to break free, that we'll be able to get it to run. Let's see if we can get it to rotate at all. Oh boy. Oh, she is stuck. Oh. All right. Time for a new plan. In anticipation of using the battery to try and crank this thing over, I took the old one out. It looks like October of 4 is the date code, so I'm guessing that's probably 2004. So that's, what, 18 years ago now, because it's November of 22 now. That's a long time. Alright, let's throw a battery in it and see what happens. I know I'm gonna get judged for this, but the only good battery I've got really is right here in the 55. I'm gonna steal that. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Don't judge me. I know y'all do the same stuff. Let's go see what happens. All right, positive, positive, negative to negative. All right, let's hit the starter and see what sort of clunky noises it makes. Those kind of clunky noises. Well, I reckon that's going to be about it for now. I need to get some ATF to get in there, maybe some diesel, vinegar, find something that'll free this thing up. I put the breaker bar on the front, and you saw that she is stuck. So maybe we can get it to soak for a little while. We'll get it freed up. If we can get it to spin, I think it'll run. It seems to be in halfway decent shape otherwise. That hole in the back of the intake, that's no bueno though. But we're out of time for today. We're gonna close it up and get to it another day. Be like 2 seconds for you. 2 seconds for you. In reality, more like 2 months. It's New Year's Day. It's warm out. It's weird. I'm gonna take advantage of it. We're gonna dig into this Jeep and see if we can figure out why it is stuck like Fort Knox. We've got a good tool for the Jeep here to help us out, figure out what's going on down in there. It's a Borescope. Let's have a look. Teslong sent me this endoscope, Borescope, whatever you want to call it, to try out, and I thought, boy, what better thing would we have to try it out on than this Jeep? Now, I did take it out, and
use it just a little on the old Ford video, which is probably I don't know, a couple videos ago. But this is when we're going to really put it through its paces here. It's got a 5-inch display, full HD. This is the NTS 500 model. It has 10-foot long cord on here to look at whatever it is you want to look at. And the best part is it's autofocus. So other ones, you know, they have a range of like 1 inch to 5 inches or something like that. This thing can go way out and still focus just fine. So regardless of what it is you're looking at, you can focus in and get in there. Here's a better view of it. You can see how well it focuses on stuff, even far away. What I really want to know is what's down inside of that hole right there, because that's, I'm pretty sure, where the water's getting in it. Let's see what we've got down there. I believe that what we're looking at down in there is a mouse nest. It's hard to tell for sure, but that's not good, and it's all pretty rusty down in there. Let's see if I can move this around. What that's looking at is get down in the hole and then look towards the front of the engine. And that sure looks like a mouse nest to me. The way that we accomplish that is with this little fitting on the end of the camera here with a mirror that looks to the side instead of just straight down. It's pretty handy. Let's see what else we can find. The first thing we're going to want to do is pop all the plugs back out of it, and we're going to see if we can squeeze this thing down in there now. It's a little big for spark plug holes, but I think it'll fit. What I've discovered is it's too big to actually fit inside the bore. I can still see down in there and see that it doesn't look rusty, it just looks carboned up. Doesn't look bad at all, honestly. Let's check another one. More of the same. Doesn't look bad. What do we think of this Teslong endoscope? I think it's pretty awesome, actually. Has a lot of nice features. It has a built-in SD card. You can snap still pictures with it. You can use these arrow buttons here and actually invert the image if you're looking at it upside down or something like that. It has a hook that comes with it, and then the sideways view. Has a rechargeable battery. It really is quite good. Now, the issue with not being able to get inside the bore is my fault. I ordered this great big autofocus 12.5 millimeter. That's a little big to get into a bore, but they have these smaller ones, you know, 7.6 or 5.5 millimeter, and you can order those, and basically you just take this lead off and you put those on and you're off to the races. Now it has this handy dandy thing that says, oh look, this is what these are good for. Mine's good for like working in walls, right? But you want this smaller 5.5 or 7.6 single lens. That's what's good for getting down in those engine bays and all that stuff. So I might order a smaller lead for it, and then I can try again. Now, like you saw earlier, I could look down in there. The pistons looked carboned, oily. I didn't see any rust or anything down in there. So I think our problem lies either in the bottom end where all the water was. It's still in that pan that's underneath it there. Or the issue is further up in the engine, maybe up in the cam, up in the drivetrain, from that hole in the intake right there. Now, I shoved the camera down in there and actually pushed it up in and looked around up here. I don't see any standing water. It is all rusty in there, and there's acorns, nuts, mice stuff. You know, they were living in there. But as near as I can tell, that's not in the lifter valley. It's inside, like, the intake. I'm sure water got down through there, but I don't think anything else did. I think what we're going to do now is see if we can get stuff down in here to free this engine up and let her soak and see where we get with that. What we have here is our stuck engine free up kit. Basically, we are going to pour this right down through the intake and see what all we can get down inside the engine. We're going to start with
a little ATF. Now, Marvel's mystery oil. Alright, we're running out somewhere. Which hole? This one. Cool. We got some dribbling out 2 holes over here. How about this side? Nothing on this side yet. Let's put the other quart of ATF down this thing too. Next, the cylinders themselves do not look rusty to me, which makes me think our problems lie elsewhere, but we're going to spray in them anyway. And then the last thing we're going to do to try and free this engine up is put some ATF down that hole back there where the water's been running for years. That way we're going to go down through all the creaks and cracks and crannies that the water's been running. Whenever it's been seizing up, hopefully this will unstick. Got her all buttoned back up, spark plugs are in, the air cleaner's on. Time to close her down. Again, 2 seconds for you, and we're back on this. I don't know how long it'll actually be. I don't like being cold, and it's January. Chances of 60-degree days to be out here working on this thing are probably pretty slim, but you know, if I get one, we'll come see if it broke loose or not. Stay tuned. We're doing better this time. It's only been a week. It's cold out though. Let's take a look, see if our concoction we poured in there did anything for us, or if we need to resort to more extreme measures. I've got it set up, ready to go here. Put a battery in it, hooked it up. I did get a hold of the fan and yank on her, it didn't move. I do not have high hopes, but we're gonna try anyway. Let's hit the key, see if miraculously it spins, and if not, I've got a backup plan. Well, that's about what I expected. Plan B. Plan B involves a ratchet and a big old breaker bar. And then we're gonna, boy, I don't want to break that bolt off. Oh boy. The other idea I had was to get underneath of here, take the inspection cover off, and put a pry bar on the flywheel, which you can do on Chevys, but apparently not on these. The bell housing goes all the way around the bottom, and there's not going to be access to the flywheel, even if you take the little cover off in the front. So we're sunk on that idea too. That sucks. Where does that leave us with this thing? Well, in a not good spot, that's where. So you can't win them all, that's what they say, right? I mean, this thing, she's stuck. You have to pull this engine, I think, to even have a prayer getting it loose. And I think, honestly, that what's happened is all that water running down through the back there, it's probably all on the cam and the lifters and the oil pump, the crank. All of it is all just probably one big ball of rust. And it just isn't worth trying to save it, especially not when you have, you know, a spare engine, which we do in that other Jeep. What do you think chances are that one will run? Well, make sure you like if you like this sort of stuff, and subscribe if you want to see if that engine does run, because that's going to be the next video. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Sorry we didn't get her going for you, but like I said, you can't win them all. Let's go try the other one. First thing I always do to see if something's stuck, get a hold of the fan, see if she turns. Oh, look at that. It's turning, it's moving the crank too. Oh, she's a little stiff, but it's moving. That's a good sign.